because so I'm like new to the whole like the restaurant reviews and stuff like that. I've noticed there's like a handful of you in Kansas City. Like since I followed yours, I've seen others.
Yeah.
How did you get into this? Like, like where did it start? I know you've been doing it for what, 2 or 3 years now?
No, actually a little less than that. I started in July of 2022 before I quit. I quit after that. I think I tried it for a month and then I was only getting like 30 views, like super lame. I started on TikTok. And so I was like, you know what? I think it's not for me. I'm not going to do it anymore. My partner was actually the one who was motivating me to do it. He's like, you should do it. Like when you go out to restaurants all the time, you're always like taking pictures and videos for your Instagram. Like, why don't you actually like create a page and like start posting? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna try it. Before, again, I gave up. But 2 months later, probably in around August, I want to say August, September, I went to a mini golf bar in downtown that had just opened, Sinkers Lounge. And I took video. I thought it was like, you know, it's a new spot. It may pop off on my TikTok. And I was taking footage, posted the video, and it started getting a lot of attention. So I was like, oh, okay, that kind of like motivated me. I was like, okay, this can actually go somewhere. It's not just me posting and nobody seeing it. So from there, I just started everywhere I would go, started shooting video, posting stuff on my TikTok. And it just became kind of like habit. Like every time I would go out, like, let me take a video of what we're doing and make a video afterwards. So it started off like as fun. I never thought that it was going to get to the point that it got to. I honestly have no idea. Like,
is it intimidating sometimes?
It can be. I have no idea where I'm going with it. I feel like I'm kind of been going with the flow, and I really love the people that I've met, the business owners that I've met, the restaurants that I've been to. I've been able to do a lot of really cool things, and I think I really enjoy that. And even if I don't have like a set end goal in mind, like I like that I'm going with the flow and just seeing where this is going to take me.
Yeah, I think it's the nerve-wracking part, the scary part of the path that you're on right now is the unknown. Like what's going to happen? Is this going to work? Is it not? But at the same time, I think that's the fun part. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different possibilities that can come out from what you're doing. I mean, you know, look where it's gone to now. I think you said you're doing something with, correct me if I'm wrong, it's lemonade or something like that, or
yeah. So I'm trying to start to expand my social media presence in other platforms. Lemonade is the newest app that just like has started to pop off. It's kind of like a mixture between Instagram and Pinterest. So it's not very video driven. It's more like photography, guides, stuff like that. I'm huge into travel. I really want to break into the travel industry and like do more travel content. I feel like because I've been so busy with my Casey content, I haven't really focused on my travel stuff. And I know it's going to take a lot more work to break into travel because it's a bigger industry.
So are you the one that started the Lemonade, or did they come to you about that?
No. So Lemonade is an app.
Okay, so I thought it was like
a social media page.
Corporation that came out, reached out to you. Okay.
No, so they're a separate app. It's kind of like an Instagram app.
Gotcha.
And it's starting to pop off with a lot of like social media creators. A lot of people are starting to be on it. So it's like the next upcoming thing. Yeah, it's the next upcoming thing. So I really want to try to stay with, you know, what's trending.
Right.
With, you know, the whole thing with TikTok, like you don't know where that's going to go. So just have like options.
What is it about the Lemonade that separates it from the other apps?
Yeah. So it's visual. It's all like photography, mostly, but it's kind of like where you can scroll and look at images, and at the same time, there's like guides like you do on Pinterest. You know, you can put like, oh, top 10 places to visit, and here's why.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a blog mixed with like the image perspective of Instagram. So that's what kind of like sets it apart. I feel like with Instagram just being very overcrowded now, a lot of people are on it. Tons of spam pages. I think with like bots, new apps coming out, like it does really set them apart. And I mean, who knows what they could come up with in the future. Yeah,
for sure. Is this something that you thought about when you were younger doing, or is this something that recently just started?
So when I was younger, I've always been entrepreneurial. Like I've always had side hustles all my life. The first thing I did when I was a kid, I started doing hair. I learned how to do like updos. And in my hometown, I'm from Marshall, Missouri, which is a small little town about an hour and a half away from here. And my mom's friends would all contact me. They saw like, oh, like I love your hair. They love my mom's hair, my sister's hair. So they started asking me to do their hair. And so I bought all these mannequin heads, started practicing, and just learned a lot. So taught myself how to do updos and would just watch tutorials. And I really started like getting business from that. So I did that for a couple years and made some money for weddings, quinceañeras, did tons of quinceañeras. And then from there, I started doing piñatas.
Oh, really?
I learned how to do piñatas. So I started selling
like
piñatas.
Like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, literally. I did a little bit of everything. So I did piñatas for a little bit just for fun. I got good at making them. So people would ask me to make some. And I'm like, sure, whatever.
I remember making those. I know when.
They take forever.
Oh, my. And they're just messy.
They're horrible.
That glue and all that shit. That
yeah. But I was creative. I've always been creative. So I really loved the craftiness of it. And from there, I started doing choreographies for quinceañeras, so dances, teaching like their surprise dance. It was horrible.
Frustrating.
Because working with 10 to 15-year-olds was not it.
No. My daughter was just in one. I used to watch them. And the guy that was teaching them looked a little frustrated at times.
No, I was stressed the whole time. It was not worth for what I was getting paid. Like, they didn't want to pay me much because I'm like, they knew me. So, like,
they want the hookup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it was not worth my time. But I did that for a little bit and then helped, like, direct the actual event. So, I did that. And then I did phone case designs in college. So, really? I started, like, blinging out my phone cases, started posting that. People were like, oh my God, I love your phone case designs. Can you make me one? So I did that for a little bit. And I feel like I took a big break. I haven't done much. I was in an entrepreneurial group in college where we started a business over a weekend with a group of students. It was kind of like a birthday card, anniversary, like mailing, like business where we were like, mail out, you just tell us the dates and then we'll mail out a card to whoever on that date so that they have it for that special occasion. And we managed that for a little bit, then it kind of fell off. We all went our separate ways, so we didn't continue with that. So that was the last time I had taken a big break from like going into like, what's my next thing? I'm creative. I want to do something. At
least you're keeping the doors open.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing is like a lot of people will open the door and it closes and they just completely shut off. Keep opening, one will stay open. That's always a mindset I've been in. And trust me, I've been frustrated at times. Like I've tried everything from being flipping cars to painting cars to, all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
And, I can't even think of how many things like I've tried and the doors have closed and it's just like, God, like what do I do? But just keep going, keep trying things. What college did you go to?
So I went to the University of Missouri, Columbia, Mizzou, and I was there for 4 years.
How was that experience?
I loved it.
Big college.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Yeah. I always say it's probably one of the best times in my life. I met a lot of people. I founded a sorority on campus.
Oh,
so that was one of my biggest accomplishments that I did there. It was a Latina sorority. So we were like the only Latina sorority on campus at the time.
What is like a sorority? Like if you could break it down for me.
So it's kind of like a group of sisters. It's like a sisterhood. So essentially, people describe it as like buying your friends. But no, we really grow really deep connections. And it's kind of a network that you can depend on in the future. Like to this day, we have a group chat with all my sorority sisters from around the U.S.
Oh, really?
There's different chapters in various states. We were the first chapter in the state of Missouri. So that was a big accomplishment for us. But we have a network where if like you're looking for a job, you post on the page and they're like, hey, I'm looking for this job. Is there a sister in this industry that you can try to like, get me in? And they'll literally like, yes, where can I send this information? Or do you need a place to stay? Like if I reach out and I have no one that I know in a city and I have sisters there, they're literally like treat you like family. They're like, yeah, you can stay on my couch if you want or stay with me for the weekend. I feel like it's a network not only for just, friendships, but also for more like career-wise, professional, like we're all there giving each other advice, moving each other forward. We have conferences where we try to build one another, like each other individually. And it's great. We do nonprofit work and raise funds for nonprofits. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's kind of like a club.
Yeah. And a little bit of fun mixed in there
exactly,
too, right?
Yeah. We definitely have parties.
Well, that's cool because I think that's one thing, especially nowadays, that we're lacking is community, and to have each other's backs, like you said, hey, so-and-so needs this. Anybody, know where she can get some help. Yeah. You're there, Yeah. I mean, because some people don't have brothers or sisters or family to help them out, So that's pretty neat that you guys can rely on each other. Because you hear like so many bad things about sororities. I think I've never heard anything on the women's side of it, but I know on the male side, it's like the hazing stuff. And I'm sure there's not great ones out there, but I'm glad you kind of were able to explain what you guys do. That way people get a better understanding of that.
Yeah, there's definitely hazing, I would say, in sororities and fraternities. I mean, we really didn't see any of it in our process. But fraternities can go a little bit more hardcore.
I've seen like the brandings and all sorts of stuff.
they do that. We're affiliated with Lambda Theta Phi. We're Lambda Theta Alpha. There are Latino fraternity like brotherhood, so that we're kind of like in the same, I don't know what to say, not the same chapter, but we're kind of like together in this.
And do you guys kind of like help each other out
together?
Too? Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot with the Lambda Theta Phi's, and they brand themselves. And
really?
I don't know. I really don't know too much about their process, but I've heard it's intense. So
that branding thing don't look like no joke. So.
Yeah, no, but they do that.
I give it to whoever's doing that, man. That's crazy. I know my barber. He used to be in a fraternity, and he told me a little bit about it. So, and that's the same thing he explained. It's like a brotherhood. He still, to this day, I think they do like annual events or something like that he attends. So, and you get to meet the new ones that come in too. Yeah. So, it's like it never stops. The networking never stops.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. What'd you end up majoring in?
So I majored in journalism. I went to the journalism school with an emphasis in strategic communication, so advertising, just exactly what I'm doing on the side.
Yeah, I figured.
I didn't do that as a career at all, so I haven't been in advertising ever since I left college. Yeah.
What were you planning to do with the journalism degree? Like you were planning to go work for an actual company doing advertisement or?
Yeah, I wanted to work for an ad agency. I looked at Berkeley here in Kansas City, and I think there was another one that I looked at here in Kansas City at the time. And I don't know. I feel like I was just open to anything because I mean, getting out of college, you just want a job. So I
pay off those student loans.
Exactly. I reached out. I talked to somebody at Berkeley, and they're like, "Yeah, like we could probably get you an internship." Kind of never heard back, and didn't really press on it any much more. Went to a career fair, ended up talking to Target, and got an interview with them, and they offered me a job after like 3-4 interviews that I did with them. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start here and see where that takes me. I was in human resources with them for 2 years. And I did human resources up until last year of October with different companies. I left Target, but I was in human resources, and now I'm in operations. Right. So nothing to do with strategic communication.
Right. And that's what you do now?
So yeah, I do operations. I'm an operations manager or an area manager.
That sucks. You come out of college and you think, you did your job, you did your part, you got your degree, and then you kind of feel like, I'm sure it made you feel unwanted a little bit, when you apply for that internship, where you're like, hey, I did everything, here I'm putting myself out there, and they're just kind of like, oh, just kind of
whatever.
Yeah. Did you plan on doing like any type of journalism, like news wise or anything like that, or like?
No, I never enjoyed I had a newspaper class in my journalism school. Hated it. Really? Copy is not my thing. I'm not a writer. I like visual. I like photography. I like video. I did a multimedia class where we had to go and actually like record and do professional video and then edit on our like Adobe platform. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, that was kind of like my taste of, what I do now. Like now I do it on my phone. But back then it was like we had the whole video camera, the professional like software to edit it in. And I really loved it. So that's where I kind of got my feel of like, okay, maybe I could do like graphic design or, and I did take an internship, did a class in visual design, and just kind of didn't, I don't know. It it didn't really feel like it was for me.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like clients are so nitpicky. And I just got the sense of like, this is what you're going to have to deal with if you're a graphic designer or if you're in this industry. Maybe an art director would have been a better role. But I kind of just gave up on it after I got my job in human resources. I was like, you know what? I think I like this field. I'm a people person. I'm personable. I really got comfortable with my role, and I just kind of stuck to the industry.
Yeah, I think you're doing good right now. I mean, stick to this job right now so you're able to fund what you love.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Because right now your passion is what you're doing, right now. So I would rather do that than sell my soul and just go work for some company, Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll pay great or whatever, but sometimes the money isn't worth it. It's more happiness, So how is the process like? Like, how do you find these places here in Kansas City? You just see a place and I'm like, all right, I'm going to check this place out.
Yeah. So,
or do you do any type of homework on them or?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I would do when I first started is I'm big at like looking around when I'm driving new places or I'm driving around. I'm like, oh, and then I take note of it when I get home. Like, I want to check this out, or I look them up and see what it's about. If it's something or somewhere I would like to check out. And I go into Google Maps and I zoom into different spots throughout the city. And I literally just look at what's in that area. And then I have a favorites folder of all the places that I want to eventually check out in Kansas City. But not only that, I feel like now it's gotten to the point where I really don't look. I have a lot of businesses that reach out to me. This month has been probably the busiest I've ever had. I've had probably 2 to 3 to 4 different events or like collaborations that have to go to or like record and then edit the video. But most of it is mostly invite right now. So they reach out to me and then I go check out their place. So that's kind of what I've been doing at the moment because I haven't had time to do my own scouting too much unless I randomly go somewhere and I'm like, I want to take a video. Maybe I'm going to brunch with a friend and I decide to take a video while I'm there. So that's kind of how I go about it.
Are you kind of picky on who you choose or do you give places a chance just in case? And it's hard to determine on reviews, you know what I mean? Because they can be so 50-50.
All over the place.
Yeah.
No, I give everyone a chance. I haven't run across somewhere that's terrible that I would be like, oh my God, I don't want to do a video on them. Like, I haven't ran into that yet. I feel like every place has its thing. And
I feel sometimes people are too picky.
Exactly. Yeah. And everybody has different tastes. So I never judge. If I do a video on something, I'm being completely neutral because I may not love it, but somebody else may come and be like, this was the best place I've ever been to.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you got to take that into consideration. Like when people in the comments are like, oh, it wasn't even good. Yeah, I understand that's your opinion, but like other people may really like it. So like I'm just putting content out there so that you can check it out. There's some place for everyone. Yeah. So
if you had a top 5, what would you say
here
in Kansas City?
Of just like every place in general.
Well, I mean, I guess restaurant wise, what are some of your favorites?
Oh my God, that's so hard. Somebody asked me this yesterday.
All right, I'm a coffee guy, so give me coffee. Where should I go to check out
coffee,
here in Kansas City?
I like Cafe Oyama. They're my number one. I really love Hispanic Latin flavors and like they have like mazapan lattes, horchata, dulce de leche. I love them. They're my favorite. So they're on Southwest Boulevard.
Okay.
Over in Crossroads.
Is that the one that you had up with all the pottery and stuff like that?
I'm trying to remember. No, that's 3Bs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's 3. And they're great too.
Okay.
But yeah, that place is more like, I feel like 3Bs is more like aesthetic. Their coffee is great, but I wouldn't like rate them in my top for myself personally.
Gotcha. But like you said, somebody else out there may love it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's somebody's thing for sure, somebody's favorite spot, and they're great. Yeah, it's just Cafe Oyama is like my number one
for sure.
And then I would probably say Cafe. So they're a Vietnamese coffee shop.
I just seen them on Instagram.
Yeah, they're, oh my God, their coffee is so good.
Really?
And I love, the thing with me is like I like coffee that's not your basic coffee. I like cultural coffee. That's my thing. Like, I love trying coffee from different cultures, different places, like something different. Because like everybody can come and open up a coffee shop with the same lattes and coffees on their menu. But when it's something that sticks out and it's like, oh, I've never tried a horchata latte. Yeah. Like that sounds so like, you know, that's unique. Yeah. And I like unique.
Instead of the coffee with 4 pumps of hazelnut. Like
exactly.
Cut and paste.
Yeah. I like more of like the uniqueness of a coffee shop more than anything. Yeah. And then I would say Café Corazon. They're great too. They're another Latin coffee
I've
shop.
seen them. Yeah.
They're amazing. I started going there when they first opened, and I think I was there every weekend when they first opened. I love them.
They have a couple locations, don't they?
They have 2 now. Yeah. One in Crossroads and one on
West.
I've
seen the owner's like an artist. I believe. Yeah.
Dulcerina, she's an artist. She's she does amazing work. She does a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot of scoping on Instagram. So
yeah.
If you guys see To Bring About, I'm usually following you for a reason.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
But no, that's pretty neat. So what about places like for dinner, like a nice restaurant? You know, I see you do a lot of stuff like that. You know, I noticed that there's a lot more popping up here in Kansas City, especially downtown. I mean, I don't know how many they can open. It's insane right now. You know, seeing the transition from Kansas City like 10 years ago to now. I mean, I feel like there's just a restaurant at every corner. What are some of your favorites?
Ooh, restaurants. I don't think I have like a top number one.
Saturday night, 8:00, 7:00.
Where do I go? Yeah. Oh God, that's a hard one.
And I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
Trying to think. Because there's been so many places I've been to that it's
What
so
about recently? Where have you been to? Maybe not a favorite, but maybe just recently.
Recently? Where have I gone recently? I don't even remember where I've gone recently. I went to the Savoy not too long ago. So they're more historical kind of restaurant. It's like American cuisine, but it was really delicious. It's more of definitely a date night or so special occasion type of like place.
Yeah, good atmosphere for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's something different. I like different. So like I like places that offer like, oh, like the ambience is like beautiful or something that makes them stand out. If it's not the food, then it's the ambience, or it's like, you know, they have live music.
I'm a big rooftop guy.
Yeah, I love rooftops.
Yeah, like the Well down there in where's that at? I can't remember what neighborhood that is. Waldo area.
So they just closed it.
Oh, they did?
They closed it, yes.
Really?
They closed it a couple months ago. Yeah.
Really? I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
I used to love their rooftop there. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, I have no idea. I thought they were going to reopen at some point, but honestly, no idea. It looks like they're demolishing the site.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't see I mean, I guess there's a lot of rooftop. I mean, not a lot, but there's probably a handful out there that are pretty decent. But no, that's pretty cool. And then you just got back. Weren't you out of town recently in Arizona?
Yeah, I was in Phoenix. So I went to a wedding, but I also did a lot of just fun activities.
Yeah,
everywhere I go, I make itineraries for places that I want to visit.
Yeah.
So I scout out influencers in other cities. That's how I do my research. So I'm always like searching on TikTok, like things to do in Arizona, things to do in Scottsdale. And like I look at other influencers' pages and I go based off what they suggest. Because I feel like if they're posting it, then there's something cool about it.
And you don't want to go to too much of the touristy places. No, I'm sure like a combination. You also want to hit the spots that are kind of the hidden gems.
Yeah, exactly. Something different.
I want to go to Arizona so bad. I can't remember where at. There was a town I wanted to visit there, but I mean, it's just beautiful down there. I think that whole atmosphere, the whole like state. The house, like are all their houses kind of like that kind of Spanish style, like, or does it kind of like give or take where you're at?
I think it depends where you're at. So like Flagstaff is up north and it's cold there. It actually snows in Flagstaff.
Yeah, because I feel like they just all have stucco houses. Like,
yeah, they do because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It gets up to like 120 degrees in the summer. So I couldn't imagine having like a wood house.
Yeah, I don't know how they run their ACs. I feel like they would just... The HVAC
consistently.
Companies out there are banking.
Yeah, but they also don't have to have furnaces because it doesn't get too cold. Like the coldest it gets is like 40 degrees, 50 degrees maybe.
Yeah.
So like they really don't have to worry about heating in the winter.
Really. I also like too, like whenever I seen for your traveling, you kind of give like an itinerary yourself too of like places to visit, but also to help people on a budget too. I've noticed that. I think that's a big deal because, right now money's tight.
Yeah.
People should still go out and be able to travel to these places, but it gets hard.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty neat that you do that.
Yeah, I do travel credit card hacking. So
okay.
I get all these travel credit cards. They have huge sign-on bonuses.
You get like points to.
Yes. Yeah. So I honestly I'm very cheap. I'm a very cheap person. So like,
I don't blame you. I am too.
I wait to rank up my points to get a free flight or a discounted flight because I don't like spending that much when it comes to travel. Obviously in activities, yes. Like I want to go see things. I want to go do things. I want to go try places to eat. But flights and like where I stay, I really could care less because I'm barely even going to be in the room. Like obviously I don't want to stay somewhere where I don't feel safe.
Right.
But I want to stay somewhere that's going to be affordable for me.
I know some people stay in like hostels and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which
I don't know if I could do a hostel.
More power to you, but
yeah,
that's a little scary. Maybe just the movie freaked me out, but maybe it's fine. But I don't know. I just couldn't stay in a place full of just everybody's around. Like I need my own room. So
exactly.
No, that's neat. And also like understanding too, because like I don't really know the ins and outs of traveling, but like seeing how airplane tickets, increasing in certain seasons and certain times, and no one, I'm sure there's people out there that don't know that, you know, so it's pretty neat. They can look at your stuff, or even like you said, the credit cards, getting points to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Or even hotels too. Like, do you necessarily need to pay $300 a night on a hotel? No. Well, here's something that's in the middle from a Motel 8 and, Hyatt or here's something in the middle that it's all right. It's good enough to sleep and it's going to save you, in the end. So
and there's apps that track flight prices for you too. So like that's something else I do. I track my flight price before I book anything. I literally will track flight prices and it will notify me when it drops. So
do you use like an app for that?
Yeah. So I use my credit card. One of my credit cards has a tracking mechanism on it. So it will notify me every time that the price goes down on a flight. That's my Capital One Venture X card. And then Hopper is an app for tracking prices. And I use that here and there. Skyscanner is another good app. So if you're flexible with your dates, that's a great app to use because you can look up places that you want to be or places you want to go. Like if you're flexible with your time frame, and it will tell you the cheapest dates that you can go there.
Really?
So those are some apps that I use to kind of determine like if I'm flexible, then I use Skyscanner. If I know I have to be somewhere on certain dates, I'll hop on Hopper and like have it notify me when the price drops and put the same thing on my credit card.
What's like a good amount of days like for a trip like Arizona? What do you recommend?
So depending what you want to do, I've gone multiple times already and done different things in different places. So I think my first trip out there was Sedona, Grand Canyon. I did Sedona, Grand Canyon, and Scottsdale. And we drove down to Scottsdale on our way back to the airport in Phoenix. And I think that was around 5 to 7 days because we did a lot. So we did like ATV
You didn't feel
riding.
Rushed or anything?
No, it felt like a long week.
Yeah, but I think I went to Florida for like 7 days, and I was like, damn, I enjoyed it, but it was like kind of weird. Like
it's a long time.
Yeah. You're like, I feel like I'm living down here.
Exactly.
How was the Grand Canyon? I've always wanted to visit.
Oh my God, it was on my bucket list forever. I went for the first time in 2020. Like right 2020, like right after the whole, I guess the pandemic wasn't over yet, but I was doing a lot of nature trips during the pandemic.
I feel like everybody was around that time.
So I went to my first hiking trip was during the pandemic.
Really?
Because I just there was nothing to do in the city.
Yeah, it was nothing.
But no, the Grand Canyon was beautiful. It was everything that I imagined. I wish I could have hiked it a little bit more. I know it can be a little dangerous.
So did you actually get to go down?
No.
Okay.
That takes
you just kind of walked around on top?
Yeah. It takes you a day to get down to the bottom. Like that's
a day?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And you have to camp down there and then you walk back up the next day. Like it's around 8 hours to get down there.
They don't have like a beginner level? Like
no, maybe like I'm sure they have to have some sort of like mini hike. But when we went, we're like, oh, like how long is it to like hike down there? Is that even possible? They're like, yeah, no. And it's actually dangerous. It gets really, it freezes. Parts of the Grand Canyon freezes. So you have to have special shoes so you don't fall off the cliff. You don't fall off the edge.
Oh, because it's so slick.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big was it? Was it just enormous?
It's enormous.
Can you see the end like when you're looking?
No.
Oh, really?
No, it's enormous.
Yeah, I've always wanted to visit there. It's so neat.
In Page, Arizona, there's a place called Antelope Canyon and Horseshoe Bend. Oh my God. Beautiful, beautiful. Like, I feel like it was even more beautiful than the Grand Canyon. Really? It's just like very scenic. Like, you just sit there and just take it all in. The Horseshoe Bend is like gorgeous. Yeah. Like, you see the Colorado River down and people are kayaking down below you. Probably takes them a whole day to get down there too. But people go all out. Yeah.
I've always been a big like nature guy. It can get I've tried primitive camping one time. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's kind of hard when you mix kids or, people who don't like to camp with you, but it can be a little stressful, especially like when you don't have like bathrooms and stuff like that. Yes. You're kind of out there with nothing, but I've been following these like camping, luxury type camping deal, like glamping, I think it's called. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, that actually kind of looks a little better. Yeah, glamping. That's hilarious. Yeah, they'll have like these teepees, but like they're like AC'd and heated, and they'll have like TVs in them and stuff like that. But you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, like, you're just enjoying life.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's not really camping though.
I know it's not, but I've done enough of laying on a hard ass ground in a tent. Yeah, that's true. It's uncomfortable. Or you have a blow-up bed that just tends to deflate by 2-3 in the morning. So yeah, at this point in my life, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather sleep a little more comfortably.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, they just have so much neat stuff out there. Like not only your account, but which I love seeing all your traveling stuff. But I follow like a bunch of different ones, like these treehouse hotels that they have. Yeah. Washington's another one on my bucket list I want to go visit. I know it like rains all the time out there in like certain areas. No. Really?
I've been to Seattle now.
All the videos I see, it's like always like rainy, but it's beautiful.
Maybe I go in the wrong time, but I've been 3 different times on different occasions, different times of the year. Yeah. Never seen it rain in Seattle. Really? Or in Washington in general. Like we went up to the border of Canada one time to do a hiking trip in like, I think it was called the North Cascades National Park. And I've never seen it rain in Washington. I don't know. Like maybe it's just like I get lucky, but that's crazy that people say that because I'm like, I haven't seen it. But I haven't been there a whole year. So
I think the statistics show they say that it rains a lot. So I don't know what seasons it does, but that's just what I hear. I've never been up there. Yeah. But they just have like real cool like nature stuff. There's like those tree houses I really want to visit. I don't know why, but I just think it's pretty neat. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. What are some other places that you recommend, like kind of on your top list, traveling wise? I see you went to, was it Greece? You went to?
Yeah, Santorini last year.
That was, that shot of you on the stairs with like all that. Oh, yeah, it was incredible.
Santa or Greece in general has been on my bucket list my whole life. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
Is that the furthest you've gone?
Yes, I would say in Europe, yeah. Because I've been to Mexico and Costa Rica, which are a little bit more south, but Greece has probably been the furthest.
How intimidating was booking that trip? Because it's
it was that trip literally made me pull my hair out. I was in Europe for a whole month when I went to Greece, so I went the whole month of October last year.
You were there for a month.
The whole month, yes. So I went to 10 different countries.
Oh, okay.
I was only in Greece for I think 5 days. But I started planning this Europe because I've always wanted to go abroad for a month.
How do you plan that?
A lot. You do a lot. Okay. So me and my friend were there for the first 2 weeks, and then me and my boyfriend were there the last 2 weeks. And we started planning in January of 2023. That's when me and my friend started planning the trip for October of 2023. So way months in advance, we made an Excel doc. We started putting things that we wanted to do on the doc. We started looking at flights. I started doing my tracking because I'm cheap. I opened up I opened up 2 new travel credit cards before I went to Europe. I got my flight there for free, and I got 8 flights within countries for free and then I had 4 hotels for free because of my credit card points. Dang. So I did not spend that much money on this trip. Insane. I am cheap. So I hacked my way out of it, so I didn't have to spend that much. My flight back, I did have to pay, unfortunately, because I didn't have enough points for that at that point. But it was like $800. I could have paid $800 to get there, so it's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A month's a long
time. What other places did you visit?
So we first started in Ireland.
How was that? I've always wanted to go to Ireland.
Beautiful. We went to the cliffs of, I think it's pronounced Moher,
okay.
Something like that. Beautiful. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was very like, oh my God, I'm really here. And I literally just sat there on the edge of the cliff, not the super edge, but I just sat there and I was like, wow, like, I'm actually here. Like, it's just like those places that you're just like, I couldn't have imagined being here. Like, my parents never traveled. They never got the opportunity to travel. They grew up poor. So it's just like, dang, like it's not that I've made it in life. I don't feel like I'm there yet. I haven't, like, I don't feel that feeling, but I'm like, I'm making it. Like,
no, but I'm sure your parents are happy for you because as a parent, we want our kids to be able to do more than what we did. So yeah. So you did make it in a sense.
Yes.
What did you pick those specific places? Like, is that like you wanted to go to Ireland for a specific reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to the cliffs. My sister studied abroad there a couple years ago, and she kind of like told me about Ireland, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to go check it out. So that was the first place we stopped at, and I loved it.
Did you go to any like old bars or anything there? I've heard they've got bars like from the 1800s.
They do. Yeah. We went to one, the oldest one in Ireland, claimed to be the oldest one in Ireland. And they're called Brazen Head Pub, and it's a different vibe. Like, they have everything like it was back in the day, or at least it looks like it was like back in the day. People are even dressed up in costume like it was like back in the day, which is super cool. Yeah, like,
they're pretty welcoming.
Yes, I feel like everybody was pretty friendly. I didn't have any issues with anyone. I think one taxi driver was rude. Other than that, like, everyone was super friendly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where'd you guys go after that?
We went to Scotland, and north of the UK, and then we went to London. From there, we went to the Netherlands, and then we went to Santorini, Athens. Then I went to Rome, Positano on the coast of Italy.
How was Italy?
Italy was amazing. I mean, I've been to Italy before. Really? I went back in 2016. I did a study abroad trip, but it was my first time in Positano. On the coast of Italy. And it was beautiful, but I think it's overhyped.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm that kind of person that I like to have things to do in a place. That place is more like you relax. You just stay in your hotel. You get a beautiful hotel with a beautiful view, and you just relax, and you just go out to eat and you shop, and that's all there is to do in Positano. And that's not my vibe. Yeah. I'm like, okay, where can we go? What can we see? Like, I don't like to just shop and eat all day. Like, I want to book activities. I want to, we did go to Capri though. That was one activity I did book because it's pretty close to Positano. So we took a day trip out to Capri, and kind of visited the island, but same thing. It's more scenic than anything. Not a lot to do, but no, it was beautiful. Their food is amazing.
Do they have beaches out there, like to swim?
I'm sure they do. So like Positano, the beach wasn't that glamorous. Like, it was like black sand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's not like the sand that you think of. It's like rocky sand. So I didn't really care to get in it. Like, I was like, like, we can skip the beach. Not really. Yeah. Not very beautiful.
Definitely not Florida sand.
No, not like the beaches here.
So where'd you guys end up going after that?
From Positano, I went to Paris. And then from Paris, we went to Switzerland.
How was Paris?
Paris, I loved Paris.
Did you see the Eiffel Tower?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally been my dream since I was a little girl to see the Eiffel Tower. Like, I used to decorate my room with Eiffel Tower everything. So whenever I saw it, I was just like literally just sat there and just watched, because it glows at night. It turns on every hour. It sprinkles. Like, they have like sprinkly lights all over the tower.
Really?
And it's beautiful. Like, they have a big water like display right in front of it that just kind of like adds to it. So it was amazing to see it in person. I mean, I actually got to go inside too.
How was it there? Were people pretty welcoming there? Sometimes I feel like they kind of get a bad rap in
yeah,
Paris.
they really do, but no, everyone in France was really friendly.
Really?
Like, I was shocked. I was like, oh, everybody's pretty nice here. Like, you know, you get the French are mean and they don't like Americans.
They don't like Americans. Yeah,
no, I didn't feel like that at all.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you get to go in it, or can you go in it?
Yeah, you can go in it. I went up to, I think, the second, third floor. All the way to the top was closed because of the. I think
you can go all the way to the top.
Yeah, you can.
Really?
But because I think it was like a windy day, it's on like a special days that they let you go all the way to the top. So we only went up to, I think it was like the second or third floor, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, you can go up and see the city from below, and
it's like an elevator ride up to it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not good with that. The arch has like a elevator thing that goes no. No, like I can stand on top of buildings and stuff like that. You put me in a small elevator and you send me all the way up to the top.
Like, no,
I'm good.
Doing it.
Well, I rode that Ferris wheel downtown and it's just like, and it's not even that tall, but it's like you're sitting in it, everything's glass, and then it's just swaying.
Yeah,
I can't do this. I'm just sitting there like holding on. Plus, like, I don't care what anybody says. That still was put together by somebody, like I don't trust people. Like I've seen stuff at like Worlds of Fun, bolts coming loose and shit, in the past, like, or other amusement parks. Like, no,
this elevator is different though. The elevator is huge. So it's like your normal elevator. I don't know if you're scared of normal elevators.
No,
but it's not like
I'm good with, it's just going way up. Like I can ride an elevator in a random building. I'm good with that. Okay. But it's like when it's see-through and then like you're going all the way up and everything's swaying and shit. Like, I'm good. Yeah, I seen you like went, actually, what happened after that? You said Switzerland, you went to that?
Yeah, Switzerland. Okay. So I went to Bern and Zurich in Switzerland. And then we ended up in Germany. And from Germany, I went to Poland, to Auschwitz. I went to see the concentration camp.
I seen that.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was intense. Literally, you hear about it in books, you see it in movies, and...
Well, I went to the Union... I'm sure you've been to the Union Station. Have you been to that?
Yeah, I went to the exhibit they had.
I think everyone usually does in school.
Yeah. It was really neat to see, but in person, it's something different. You're like, oh, wow, this is intense. Like, you can feel the energy. The energy, the negative energy, the sadness, the tragedy that happened there. It was a very intense feeling the whole time. I was just like shocked. Yeah, but I definitely recommend. I feel like it's very eye-opening to like history. But,
and people should go see it and should learn about it, which I don't know anybody who doesn't, but also the details and watch a documentary on it because history repeats itself and it could easily happen again. So that's pretty neat that you got to visit that. So then that's kind of where your trip ended, right there?
In Poland. That was our last stop.
Okay. No, I was about to say, we were talking about elevators. I seen you went skydiving one time.
Yeah.
It's something I want to do, but with me being scared as hell with elevators, like I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
There's not that much safety net in skydiving.
I'm strapped to some guy,
Exactly.
Like,
you gotta trust him to open the parachute.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And how's this guy feeling today? You know what I mean? Is he gonna pull the chute?
Is it gonna work?
Yeah. Is it gonna work? So I don't know. I'm just.
I highly recommend it. It's not as bad as you think it is. I think you overthink it because you're like, oh my God, this is so high. I remember being on the helicopter and they had the door open and I remember looking down and I'm like, is this as high as it's going to get? And they're like, oh no, we're only halfway. And I'm like, I was like, okay. I was like, no, I think I'm going to tell him that I need to get off, that I can't do this. Like, I don't think I can do this. And then I was like, no, just do it. Close your eyes and just go for it. Like, stop overthinking it. And once you do it, it's like, dang, I want to do this every day.
I think I just watched too many like parachuting fails.
There is a lot
on online. So I don't know. I want to try it. One day I will. Yeah. One day I'll work up the courage to do it. But right now I'm just like, I'm safer on the ground. There's no reason for me to do all that, Maybe I'll have some type of midlife crisis here.
Yeah, and you'll go and jump off a plane.
Yeah, maybe I'll try it, But no, it's awesome. I wanted to talk to you too. This is something that kind of speaks to me a lot. The Casey Pet Project that you do. I've seen that you do kind of like a, like a big sister type thing for dogs, take them out, adopt them for a couple of hours to kind of get them out of being stuck in, a cage pretty much all day, know. And I'm sure Casey Pet Project, I've seen them at Zona Rosa, taking them out and letting them, giving the time, so that way they're not inside all the time. Yeah. But I actually spoke to one last time and I mean, they're so understaffed and just they need volunteers. So I thought that was pretty neat what you're doing.
Yeah, I actually did volunteering for them during COVID. I went through their courses and I was actually going to the site, taking dogs out to the bathroom, monitoring play dates or play groups. And I did that for a little bit. And then I kind of just got busy with work. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to continue just to do the dog day out. It's their dog day out program. And I love doing it. I love animals. I have my own dog, but he doesn't get along with other animals, unfortunately. So it's not like I can adopt or foster full time. He's a little complicated, but dog day out really fills my cup. I feel like just like seeing how sweet these dogs are, and like they all deserve homes. And I'm huge of you. I would see a dog that's homeless versus a person, I would probably help the dog.
I don't blame
not the person.
Same here.
Like,
Same here.
I love animals, and I mean, it just really like fills myself, and I feel like making video or making a content on them, like that's what I'm passionate about. Like that makes me like, oh my God, like I'm doing this for a purpose. Like I want to put them out there. I want them to get the visibility. I want them to get adopted. And it just makes me feel really happy that I'm like, I have this platform. Like I want to use it for something good too. And I haven't been able to do it as much as I want. I do it once in a while, but it's really
difficult too. I mean, you have a whole life, you know, that you're busy, and then having to do that. So, but it's neat that you at least try to fit in when you can. Because to me, how I look at it, a little is better than none, you know, and that's kind of what I've been looking at. I actually reached out to Casey Pet Project. Hopefully they'll get back with me. I want to have somebody on that can explain what's happening, you know, like why is there such an influx with animals in these shelters? Yeah. You know, what can people do to kind of help out? Even like you said, small things here and there. You don't have to, you know, go and volunteer 5 days a week, but if you can do it once a week, I mean, imagine if thousands of people did that. I mean, it would help so much, you know, and stop buying dogs, like go and rescue. There's so many great dogs in the shelters that need help, and they're just sitting there. I mean, who knows for how long? Yeah. And, you know, we kind of get, and I'm going to speak, but explain to me if I'm wrong, anybody out there who knows more than I do. I know a lot of these shelters that are like no-kill shelters. But from what I've read, they may be no-kill shelters, but there's a certain time frame that they're no-kill. So when people go, well, you know, we're going to, you know, help and we'll take these animals to a no-kill shelter, you know, they'll be all right, they'll get adopted. That's not always the case, you know, like not every animal gets adopted. And, you know, I've been in these shelters and I've seen these animals and it's just sad.
Yeah,
you know?
It is.
I mean, I don't know. I wish people would more of think about when they get an animal,
what they're getting themselves into. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like this, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Like people get weird when you start talking about animals in like comparison to humans, but to me, they're both living and breathing. They all have feelings. It's like,
and animals are more defenseless.
And why treat them like that? You know, it really pisses me off. Like when I was just at a restaurant the other day, Taco Express down there in Northeast, and I look back and there's this dog just chained up in a yard. A German Shepherd. I have a German Shepherd, so I noticed it right away. And his leash is like literally 5 feet. Yeah. And no grass, no nothing, just straight concrete. It's 40 degrees outside. Yeah. And it's like, but what can you do? You know, I don't know how long he's leaving it there. Maybe he just let it out to go the rest. I don't know. I didn't stay there all day. But regardless, it's like, if you're going to have an animal, can you at least give it better conditions, you know? And like, I feel like just people are just so ignorant. They are. It's just a fucking dog. Like, no, that's not why we get dogs. You know what I mean? Like,
if you want a dog just to be chained up, don't get a dog.
Don't get a dog at all. Yeah. You know, but I need something to watch over then get a security system. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, don't use this dog, you know, as some type of tool. And if you are going to use it in that, then make sure you're taking care of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Make sure it has water. I didn't see any water or food back there. Like, give it a shelter, you know, a place to sleep. I'm not saying you have to leave a dog in a house and pamper it and do all that stuff, but it should have like all the like shelter, water, food, somewhere to roam around, you know, like you should give it those things. I mean, it deserves that as a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So
there is actually an organization that I used to volunteer for when I first moved to Kansas City, called the Rescue Project. And there's another one too that just formed not too long ago, but they actually go out. So it's kind of like a hotline for dogs that you see that are chained up or in bad condition, not fed, not watered. So like if I see my neighbor and I'm like, hey, he doesn't feed his dog, I can call them. Really? It's like a hotline.
And see, that's what I want to know because I don't know what I can call, what I can't.
They will literally go out
and just kind of check it out
on the dog, and they will leave food, shelter, like bones. They'll give a new chain. So they'll educate the owner. So
Really?
they go out. I've actually gone out and done outreaches with them, and we'll go out to different houses on a day. So like it's the whole day. You go out and you're in a bus that has tons of supplies.
Really?
So we have everything on that bus, and then we go to different properties where we got hotline calls from, and you will check up. You'll basically knock on the door, see if the owner's there. If they're not there, then we'll just go check on the dog. And you leave food, you leave water, we leave them shelter. If they're not in the shelter, we leave hay, so that they can lay it down in their house if they have one. If not, we leave them igloos. We have like igloo houses. They have igloo houses. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. They leave
something to get them out of the wind and the cold. You know.
Yeah, they're a great organization. And then a new one just formed. I forget their name, but I did an outreach with them back when I first moved here, and did some other activities. We would go out to PetSmart and do adoption events with them. So that's I did neat. That. I would do that every weekend when I first moved here. So those are some organizations that you can actually like have them come out and check on the animal and provide them with resources and educate the owner. They can even like if the owner wants to give up the dog, they can also talk them into giving up the dog. If they're like, are you going to keep it like this? Like, this is not livable conditions, and they'll talk to them about getting rid of it, and then they'll take it to a shelter.
I know, it's so sad. And then it sucks because then, they go to that shelter and it's probably a 5-year-old dog. And then what are the odds of somebody, and I understand, like, especially me as a pet owner, it's difficult, especially if you have kids or other pets, taking in a dog that's already mature. Yeah. It's hard to kind of, mesh with the animals or the kids you have now. You're wondering, like, is this going to work or not, But, and I know there's a lot of great dogs that are older. So don't let me, make it seem like that. That's not what I mean. But yeah, man, I mean, that's crazy. I'm glad those organizations exist. I mean, those people, do a lot of, to me, not, work that's not really shown a lot. I feel like really out there. At least I don't see it as much. Yeah. But I know now that I'm starting to follow a lot more on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, I'm starting to see it more. So yeah. So that's pretty neat though.
That I've actually reached out to the other new organization to do like content to try to promote what they're doing. But I haven't done that with the Rescue Project, the organization I used to work for. But I think that would be a good one to highlight because people don't know about it. Like you never know. Never heard of it. Yeah, exactly. They're smaller, so it's just harder to know about like what they do. But now that you bring that up, like that would be a great one to highlight because I mean, people that if you see something, somebody else sees something, like you're like, okay, well, I can't go take the dog away from the backyard. Like, what can you do? Yeah. And it's those organizations that you really don't know about.
I just wish more people would educate themselves more on, instead of like an impulse purchase. Yeah. Like, oh, it's so cute. It's so little and furry. And it's like,
and it grows up.
That's going to be a big ass dog. Like whenever you know what I mean? Like when 2 years down the line, and are you going to be able to handle the hair everywhere and the, I got to go on vacation. Who's going to watch my dog? Like all sorts of things.
It's a lot. They can get sick.
Cost of food. Yeah. Oh God. You're telling me my dog has 2 ACL surgeries.
Oh God.
Yeah. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Like I have pet insurance for my dog.
Yeah. These are, I probably should have had that. Yeah. These are things you have to think of. I mean, like, or even my dog right now is diabetic. It's $100 a month of, insulin shots that you have to do twice a day.
Yes. Yeah. I had diabetic dogs growing up too, and it's a lot.
Yeah. So it's a lot to think about. And I think if we can try to dig to the root of the problem, which, it's kind of hard to manage, and you can't manage everybody. People are going to still do it. But, thank God these organizations are out there to help and, and hopefully, receive enough donations to keep doing what they're doing.
For sure.
But no, yeah, definitely. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'd like to be on, because I want someone to explain what that everything. Looks like. And kind of put it out there. That's the stuff that should be trending too. Yes. You know what I mean? For sure. Just like the great food content you're putting out, I wish that other people would also look at that side of it too. That's why I'm glad you're doing both. You know? Because with your following you have now, you can use that to also promote that as well. Yeah, so. Especially
when it comes to animals. And I do want to do more nonprofit, highlight more nonprofits. I was good at that at first. I would go to different nonprofits, not only K-State Pet Project. I also did Mind Drive. They're like an organization for students to train them in like different welding skills. Oh, okay. And like I went to do a video for them and like little different.
Like doing trade schools and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Like
training them in high school.
Yeah, because I feel like so much, especially when I was in school, it's like college. But I mean,
there's different avenues now, and like you can learn.
And look at our
skills.
shortage in labor, workers. Trade workers are needed right now. And not everybody. College isn't everybody's thing. So
exactly.
Or also you could explain too, since you went to college, avenues of getting financial assistance or what are they called? Scholarships and stuff like that, or even just a path to take. Is a big university for me, or is community college, and then maybe go to a big university afterwards? You know what I mean?
Financial wise, for sure, community college. Like I know I had the opportunity to go to community college. I did the A+ program, which was a program in high school.
Yeah, I had
where I forget exactly what the requirements were, but
it was like 2 years for free. Yeah, it was 2 years for free. I know. I wasted mine. I should have used it. I was 18 and I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with my life. I went to Maple Woods for like a month and I was just like, I cannot do this. So, but see, if trades would have been more kind of shown to me back then, maybe I would have took a VOTEC class or something like that.
Yeah, something that seems more interesting.
Yeah, because it was weird. Like my senior year, I was doing a half-day release program for work. Like I was already working. I was, so I feel like that should have got pushed more on me. And, accountability as well. Maybe I should have looked more into it too. But yeah, I mean, but what were we saying? We just said something right now. It's just about
A+ program.
A+ program, yeah. Yep. I think it's like you have to do community service, I believe.
I think so.
And like you had to get a certain GPA or something like that.
Yeah, there was a certain GPA. It was so long ago. I feel like I was in high school like a million years ago.
You're telling me. I graduated in 2010. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me too. I graduated in 2013. Yeah, 2013. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, no, that's cool. I know you got to get out of here, so I don't want to hold you up too long. You're fine. But I appreciate you coming on. I love all the work you're doing right now.
Yeah, thank you.
So keep it coming. I mean,
thanks so much.
Especially the traveling too.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to put out right now? Are you going to be anything down the pipeline?
For
traveling or your work, in general?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm going to take a little break in April. I'm going to chillax because March has been a lot on me. That's why I took off the last 2 days off my actual job because I really needed to decompress.
Well, I don't think people understand either that how much work goes into what you do. Not
and I feel
only
like we're very influencers or content creators are very underappreciated, I guess is the right word. Not sure what the right word is, but like it's a full-time job. It really is. Like, yeah, we make the choice to want to get into this space, but literally if I'm not at work, I am different places, checking out different places, invites that I get, going to make content.
Yeah.
Some of it is just trade, some of it is paid, some of it is like events, so you get to network and meet people. But at the end of the day, like I don't I feel like places that just like want free content for free content, I'm like, I appreciate that. I want to support you. And that's how I started. I started just going places. I would pay my own bill. I would do my own thing. But it takes my whole days off are just editing and creating content. And again, I chose that. I want to do it. And I'm putting content out there to grow to one day maybe it lands me something bigger.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone is a human being. We all have, there's other things that I could be focusing on. And it's just like finding that balance. And I feel like I still haven't found that balance for myself because I get stressed a lot.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Very overwhelmed.
Same here. Yeah. I got a full-time job as well, doing this. And like you said, it's our passion to do this stuff. So we signed up for it, but it's nice to take a break sometimes,
exactly.
kind of rewind and, or unwind and kind of just collect yourself and start planning for it. Cause it can get hectic. I mean, even the stuff I do, I mean, it's a week's worth of work usually when I have a guest come in. Sometimes it may be 2 weeks and then afterwards I'm doing a week of editing and, posting and, all that stuff. So there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't understand. And I think undervalued wise with influencers, I think maybe because people, it's the same as podcasts. There's just so many out there. So it's like, whatever, everyone's doing that right now. But if people would actually just take the time to check it out and kind of get that negative mentality out of their mind and just enjoy what it is. It is what it is, you know? And if you don't, there's other ones out there you can find, but to kind of just write it off because everybody's doing it or,
honestly, it benefits businesses a lot. Like nowadays, I feel like people appreciate like, oh, I know that girl. That girl's my age, or that girl looks like me, or like she's like every other, you know, girl. Not like, we're not celebrities. We're not, you know, we're not just doing things to do things. Like I feel like we're genuine people. We're human beings. You can relate to us. And I feel like people appreciate that. They're like, oh, she's just another girl in her 20s that is checking out new places just like me. And like people can relate to that. And I feel like it's a marketing area that's definitely been growing fast in the last couple of years. I think the first time I heard of influencer marketing was in 2020 or 2019, whenever I was working at a marketing agency back then, and they had just started doing influencer marketing. Really? And so I was like, oh, okay, like this is what this is. Like, I knew there's people out there that promote brands and products and stuff like that. But when it comes to like pushing restaurants and food reviews, just like your local everyday girl in the city, just going and reviewing places, and you're like taking her advice or taking their advice on like places to check out. Like you honestly, like it's huge for businesses. Like I've had a lot of follow up from businesses that I've been to. They'll DM me and they're like, oh my God, like, thank you so much for posting that video. Or the collab that we did was amazing. Like I've literally got so much foot traffic because of you, or people coming up and showing me your video and wanting something from your video. Like they want to order this one dish they saw on your video. And I'm like, that is so cool. It's just so cool to see that you're having that impact on businesses and really helping them drive like, you know, what they're about. And like I get to hear their stories and how they started, and it's just like it touches you more. You're just like, dang, like I feel good about myself, and I'm glad I'm helping. For sure.
I mean, that's how I seen it, you know. I was like, damn, you know, I was watching all your videos and I'm just like, man, I want to check out this place. Like that sushi place down there in the plaza. Yeah, it's like the little, I didn't even know that existed. Trace, you know? Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like, you know, it's like a virtual tour, you know. So like, you know, when you're driving, you may you may pass by it and look at it, but you know, you never even went inside, you know, to check it out. And then you
don't know what it is.
Yeah, you see your video, you're like, oh shit, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. So do you have any traveling coming up then after the break, or any plans?
So I do. I have some one of my friend's weddings coming up, so that's more of a commitment type trip. But her bachelorette is in Austin, so I'll be going back to Austin again this year. Nice. And then she gets married in June in Houston, so I have Austin and Houston. I actually just booked my flight to Austin last night. Nice. And then after that, I think my sister's quinceañera is coming up, and she wants to go to Greece.
Oh,
so
really?
I may go back to Greece in the fall. So I think that may be coming up. And then I haven't been back to Michoacan since 2014, I think. Oh, really? It's been forever. So I'm planning to go back to where my parents are from. Nice. And like my parents have a house out there. So I think I'm just going to go out and just spend some time like being in el rancho and just enjoying like bread in the mornings and taco trucks and all that good stuff. And the parties there are amazing in December. That's awesome. I think I'm going to go for a week or two and just spend some time down in like where my parents came from. Yeah,
I get mixed reviews from Michoacan because, you know, I got, you know, my wife's from Michoacan. Well, she's not from there, but her parents are. Yeah. And there's always like mixed reviews on whether or not to head down there.
I mean, Morelia is beautiful. The capital, like the city, is beautiful.
I'm sure it's like here. There's certain parts, you know. Exactly. And also, if you're not messing around and what you shouldn't be messing around, you should be fine. Yeah, you should be fine.
Exactly. But the towns where my parents are from, they're really small. There has been incidents in the past, like whenever I was there back in 2014, there was a wedding that got shot up like by narcos. Yeah. And I remember hearing them because it was like down the street from where we live. So I was like, oh my God, that's terrifying. I literally wanted to go to that wedding too. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. But I wouldn't say that, I mean, lately I haven't heard much. I mean, I haven't been, but my grandma goes every year. My uncles, my family, my parents go every year, and they haven't had any issues. I mean, obviously it's like any other country. Keep your purse to yourself, jewelry to yourself,
situational
like phone
awareness.
To yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, because I feel like Mexico gets such a bad rap when it does. Literally you can get hurt anywhere you go. I mean, you can get hurt going to Northeast. Exactly. KCK, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, you know, it just you got to be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, aware of your surroundings, you know, and you know, just stay out of shit you're not supposed to be in.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
But no, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I wish you success in everything you're doing. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, great to see that you're doing this as well. Yeah, so thanks. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.